You want me to put that on my tudger?
Harry's wife. Sugary shit. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. You only have to punch in Harry's wife's name into Mr. Google and see what the news articles are thrown up to find that they are largely against her, critical about her, or taking the piss out of what she's been doing. Many reporting on the suspicion that there has already been a split between her and Harry, focusing on her repeated failure concerning Spotify, the suggestion that Netflix are none too pleased with her, identifying the paucity of deals that are out there, and its repeated negativity about her. Of course, we know that she attempts to fight back through the PR puff pieces that appear through the likes of People.com, Harper's Bazaar, Marie Claire, sometimes the Daily Mirror, and of course, Hello! But those are pretty wishy-washy. They are PR puff pieces that often bring up the past, something from their wedding, or something about her being a foodie, or something to do with her fashion, and they're hardly impassioned defences of her, which then causes one to wonder, does she have any defenders still out there? Well, she does. It would appear, however, that with many people, that as they see the increasing failures and the ridicule that comes with it, those that support her either think, she is a bit of a loser, and kind of lose interest and slink away, and then there is a small rump that doubles down on their attempts to try and defend her, and she therefore does still have those that will rise to her defence. But are these defences actually effective in any shape or form? Do they make any valuable points? Do they advance in a forensic fashion that she ought to be treated in a better way, that it is not all doom and gloom, that actually there is evidence to support the fact that she's going to bounce back with solid deals, excellent content, and that all is well between her and the Ginger Prince? Intelligencer, for example, sought to discredit the story about Air Force One snub, but it didn't do very well. It was unconvincing in its content, and all it did was continue to draw attention to the fact that there had been an Air Force non-situation in the first place. But what about coming up with some sugary shit? Might that do the job? Well, there's a site that's called theroot.com, and an article by Chanel Jenny, headed up as Hot Tea, leads with, "Dear Trolls, are y'all tired of speculating about Harry's wife and Prince Harry's marriage yet?" We already can see that this is a sugar publication as the use of y'all and describing people as trolls. The subheading is, "Rumours that the royal couple were headed for divorce have unfortunately been the talk of the town recently. But are we really surprised at the negativity?" The article tells us, "I don't know about you, but if you're into astrology, oh dear, then this new Venus retrograde allegedly has couples either making up or breaking up." That really is a solid basis, isn't it, for making a determination about the solidity of a relationship turned to astrology. Now, it looks like the same is being said of Harry's wife and Prince Harry once again. Per The New Yorker, talks of the two heading to Splitsville have resurfaced once again over the weekend. Only this time, it's spawned by the recent dissolution of the couple's multi-million-dollar deal with Spotify. According to the rumours, the pair is allegedly taking time apart on different continents and or doing a trial separation due to financial strains. There's speculation that Prince Harry has been spending a lot of time in Africa, while the Duchess has stayed in America. There's also been talk that she's filed for divorce, somewhere to the tune of $80 million. However, an insider close to the royal couple recently told Page Six that all the speculation was just that, and it's purely fictitious. It's not true. It's literally made up, the source said. Of course, talks of a breakup divorce with this specific couple is nothing new, But given the most recent lesson we learned about the pitfalls of speculating about the private aspects of folks' lives, looking at you, Jamie Foxx, glad to see you're looking good and feeling like yourself again, I would think we would have grown tired of talking about things we quite literally know nothing about. But alas, haters gonna hate and speculators gonna speculate. And unfortunately, when it comes to Harry's wife, any shred of negative news gets folks so excited to the point where they revel in it. Here's hoping they can grow up sooner rather than later. Well, I don't think you would hire this individual to defend you in court if that's the totality of the defence. But is it effective? And why do people continue to seek to defend her? Firstly, is this an effective defence? The short answer is no. All it does is say, somebody said it's not true, therefore it's not true. The fact is that this individual does not provide a balanced or nuanced assessment of what's going on, evaluating the actual weight of the evidence, where it's coming from, the likelihood of it occurring in the narcissistic dynamic, but simply can be shown to be a sugar by the language used, the reference to yal, referring to people as trolls and haters, meaning that, quite simply, they are only going to be looking at this through the lens of wanting to support Harry's wife. They simply pump out a puff piece saying, it's not true because somebody else said it wasn't true, and there you are. Not evidence that would stand up in a court of law. What I do is enable you to determine the veracity of the evidence, what is put before you. In some instances, observe whether I see this as to be likely, but also frame it as against the narcissistic dynamic. I'm an expert in that, and that provides you with a very useful means of understanding the likelihood of it occurring. Doesn't mean it necessarily will, but the likelihood of it occurring as a consequence of, is this something that a narcissist would do? What about the fact, why do people continue to defend her? Well, there are some, although they are dwindling in number, who have a vested interest in her. They're on her payroll, whether it's they're a member of staff, or that they're doing the PR, or they're quite simply paid to appear on Twitter, etc., and attack other people and support her. Therefore, they're not doing it because they believe in the cause, they're doing it because it helps pay their bills. There are some who blindly support her still because they lack the cognitive function to be able to assess the evidence and understand that 1, she's a narcissist, 2, this means she behaves in particular ways, 3, this invariably means you're going to view her as an unpleasant individual. They cannot wrap their heads around it because they have not been blessed with the cognitive function to enable them to do so. Instead, it's far easier for them to continue to support her blindly and, notwithstanding the presentation of evidence, just dismiss it. Some of those supporters will, of course, be narcissists themselves, but a lot of them will actually just be nose-down normals. It's too difficult for them to think about it. There's also the fact that many of the nose-down normals don't like to be told that they're wrong. People don't like to be told that they've got something wrong, and rather than do a volte-face, they just show slavish adherence to an indefensible position. They know they're wrong, but they simply won't admit it. And then there are others who can't really stand to have had their hopes dashed. There are some who live vicariously through her, who saw her as one of them doing good, and they don't want to admit that their queen or their princess is actually a grifting narcissist. And therefore that prevents them from absorbing the actual evidence of her behaviour and what it means. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.